Hello, my name is Brian. This is Football Manager 22, and we're back in Salisbury, and I've talked really, really fast because there's a ton of things to go over. We're here in the club vision screen, as we usually start off with, and there is a new man behind the curtain, as Stephen Merchant is gone, and we had a takeover of the summer and brought in a new chairman of the board. He immediately gave us $5 million to spend, which, isn't much given we were given a transfer budget of somewhere around $30 million and a payroll budget around $20 million. But every little million helps. Positively, he did strike all the previous club culture stuff that Merchant had assumed we were playing with. So we get to rebuild our club culture in terms of possession football and whatnot, and not have the management whine at us. They ditched the contempt for old players, and as well as looking to sell on young players, and instead just require a minimum 3-year contract for first team players. Not a problem. I'm not looking to sign on 1-2 year deals anyways. Premier League requirement is still the same: fight bravely against relegation. Neither of them expected me to succeed. We'll see if we can. Reach the second round of the FL Cup. That's the one game I played so far. We've managed it. We won our first round match against Reading. I don't know why we're in the EFL Trophy. Usually that's the League 1 and 2 teams against U23 sides from a few of the big clubs, but we're not in League 1 or 2, and we don't have a U23 side. So I'm not sure if how it's going to go for us, but it's not important. Same with the FA Youth Cup, because we don't have a U18 team, U19 team. We're supposed to be competitive in the FA Cup, whatever that exactly means. If you had your money on Bournemouth over Southampton, you win your bet over where we are playing our home games, our home away from home games. I did a little Googling, and it turns out that Southampton is actually closer, according to Google Maps. Going from Salisbury's Cathedral to Southampton Stadium is 40 minutes, while to Bournemouth Stadium it's all of 41 minutes. So, personally, I would have just preferred whichever is bigger. But we're in Bournemouth for the year. We are selling off our newly built 5,000 seat stadium to who I don't know, and for like $1 million, which, given how much it costs to build, feels real bad. But we're then spending somewhere in the vicinity of $35 million to build a new 16,000 seat stadium in Salisbury to hold the team. So that'll be great when it's done. Estimated date of completion is faster than the last one. Estimated completion is 6/25/2030. So just a year, actually. I don't know how we're building that fast, but we are. I did put in a request to the new management, and I said, hey, we should actually have youth facilities, actual youth facilities. This was intended to up the youth level up to existing, so that we have a youth club, and not just poor youth facilities. We'll see what exactly it does, but he agreed. It costs all of like $100,000, so given how much we're going to make this year, oh boy, we're going to make a lot of money. So might as well reinvest it in that. So yeah, we given about $30 million to spend and $20 million on salaries. As you can see, I've got a payroll budget of around $18 million with still $20 million to spend if I wanted. Yeah, that's about right. It's the limiting factor to some extent is finding players who want to come to Salisbury, because we still have a very bad reputation of being a team that was just in League 7 or Tier 7 in 2022, and now it's 7 years later and we're in the Premier League. Funny how that happens. Anyways, so yeah, in terms of finances, I believe they said EPL television revenue alone will bring in over $100 million. So yes, us spending $20 million on budget is nothing. We're going to be rolling in the dough, so hopefully they'll just give me all of my requests forever, and hopefully we don't get fired. But that takes us to how are we building the team to try and survive. And so let us take us over to where we started last time. Billy Bell was our last acquisition, summer acquisition, called up from Filed to play in the midfield. He did fine. But then the new acquisitions, where we start spending money. We brought in Thomas Green from Hamilton. He is very close to being ready. He's a 19-year-old that we picked out of Hamilton. I guess one thing I will go after Thomas Green here is the rules I set for myself, because as I've mentioned before, let's finish up with him. He has a great first touch, great decision vision, so he's going to be really good moving the ball around. Good physicals too. His pace is up at 13. Often center mids can be like low 11 or something. So he's got real potential. We've already loaned him out. He's out to Sunderland in League One, so hopefully that goes well for him. I think he subbed into the last game and only got a few minutes, so hopefully. Oh, are they in the championship? They're in the championship, excuse me. So he's gotten 2 sub appearances there, and he's been playing in the. Oh yes, he's been representing Scotland in the UEFA Under-21 championships, so getting some play time there. So my rules for myself are: if I can sign a player who is coming from a club within Great Britain, England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland. I don't know why I bothered telling most of you people who are British what Great Britain constitutes, but and perhaps even Ireland, even though I know they're different, but still, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, or I'll just brush it over, whatever. Then it's fine. I can sign them, even if they shouldn't be here in the first place by work permit rules. If they are coming from outside, then they need a work permit, but the database scrubbed the work permit rules from the EPL. And, I don't want to just be all willy-nilly just signing as many Brazilian wonder kids as I can get my hands on. That's just, I don't know, antithetical to the point to me that anyone do that. That's a cakewalk. So my rules are thus that basically if I'm going to sign a player, then they need to have at least like 2 caps for the national team, because national team caps are a big factor in work permit allowances. If you are in one of the top 50 national teams in the world and you are a regular on that team, you will often get your work permit just approved on that alone. If not, then you often get a certain amount of points for being any national team, being a regular. The other is then playing, obviously preferentially to higher tier clubs, sides, leagues, yes, and higher tier leagues. But as long as you're a starter wherever you are, I'm calling it good enough. So if you've got at least 2 or more caps and are a regular player for your domestic league or a domestic league, then I'm calling it good enough that you are work permit approved. I granted myself one exemption to sign a player that I wouldn't be able to under these rules, because I'm imposing rules on myself that it turns out Liverpool and whoever don't have to impose on themselves. So we'll get to that player in a second. So in terms of other players we won't be seeing this year, we brought in David Hutchinson from Southend. I don't know why Southend had, again, such a promising player. He's 19. He has great physicals, that pace 15, 17 acceleration, pretty good mentals. His technicals are okay, but he's got the important ones: passing, first touch, dribbling, long shots, technique. He can move the ball, dribble the ball, and we've loaned him back to Southend in League 1, League 2 for the year. We will skirt over the next one as he's my exemption. And so we go into scouting national teams. Andrija Gasic, I'm probably savagely mispronouncing his name. Feel free to correct me. Who will be our new starting right back here for the future. Great physicals, very solid mentals, has marking and tackling, his passing adequate. I mean, his passing, dribbling, crossing are all 8s or 9s. Those crossing in particular is nerfed in Football Manager. You just don't find many people with good crossing, because crossing's good enough even if you're bad at it. So many goals are that way. So Obviously, he's got real potential, being just 20. He's still got room to develop. And we signed him out of Partizan Belgrade in the Serbian league and his Serbian cap. So he's our new starting right back. Then at left back, Mikael Fasek from Sparta Prague, 16 caps for the Czech team, still just 22. Again, great physicals, great mentals, technicals of marking, passing, tackling, technique, all good. Crossing, dribbling, passing, all 8 and higher. 10s and 12s in some cases. Good size too at 6'1". There's just nothing not to love about this guy. Got him for 6 million, 7 million with some kickers. We got Gosic for 3.3. Green was 1.2. Hutchinson was 500k. Jack Vine, who will be part of the... I thought he was going to be part of the rotation in the middle, but he actually might play just as much right wing. He's kind of positionally confused. Good physicals, good mentals. Technicals are a bit hit and miss. His marking's only a 5 and tackling's a 7, so I can see why right wing might be a little better than center mid. But he's good at dribbling, good first touch, good passing, good technique, good free kicks. So he offers a little bit of everything, and the positional flexibility is nice. He thinks he's a 2.5 star at center mid. Thinks he's 2.5 at winger. Maybe even 2.5 at an attacking bit of defensive midfield. But with that marking and tackling, I would not want him to play in our system. And he was free, as Tottenham just didn't want him for some reason. Thanks, Tottenham. We got Karim El Omari from Willem II in the Eredivisie. Oh, no. What? From the Netherlands. I mean, he's Moroccan, but he played in the Netherlands. On a free. They were just giving him away. I was looking to improve pace, and his combination of 11 pace and 7 acceleration is obviously not amazing. But he's 6'6", so he's a big boy. Those numbers are probably good enough. His great strength, his mentals are all real solid, and he's got the key technicals that we need. So I think he'll be good for now. Certainly a solid piece of rotation. In terms of, again, picking up young players to for the future, we picked up Callum Monroe here, just 17. He technically doesn't play positions we use currently at right and left midfield, but I fully think he's just going to develop into a right winger. He's got experience playing there. He might even be a center mid, but I think right wing's more natural. 2 stars, potential 5 stars. Yeah, that feels good. Physicals are really good for a 17-year-old. Mentals are really good for a 17-year-old. Technicals need work. All he's really good at is passing. But everything's solid. He just doesn't have anything he's bad at. He's got a 6 in corners, and everything else is a 7, 8, or 9. Deal. Brought him from Dulwich Hamlet. Again, how does Dulwich Hamlet and Vanillaro South have a kid like that? I've never had a kid remotely like that. And we've loaned him to Doncaster in League One to get some reps in this year. I thought Brad Blumgren would be higher when we got him for free away from Man City. Certainly we're paying him cheaply, which is nice. His physicals are amazing. His mentals are okay. He's got the key technical attributes: first touch, passing. His crossing's an 8, dribbling's a 12, technique's 14. But for whatever reason, Phil Neville and the boys don't think he's only a 2-star. Thinks he's really still a prospect more than a player now. I don't know. I tried to loan him out. I couldn't get anyone to bite on him. For now, it's very fine to have him on the roster, as we'll see in a few moments. But I would like to get him more regular playing time than I think he's going to get with our team. We will jump another player because I think it's important. Gareth Jones here is pretty irrelevant. He is a third-string goalie. He's here to be a third-string goalie. Yeah, that's it. Mike Klein, probably, from Feyenoord and then to Brentford. I don't know. I would assume Brentford was leaning into... No, Feyenoord probably landed to Brentford. Yeah, we got him for less than $1 million. So that was a feel like a steal. Good physicals, good mentals, great technicals. Look at those technicals; it's all lit up with a amazing first touch and technique. Yellows all over the board. Thankfully, he'd been at Brentford, and that gave me my loophole to bring him in. Very expensive in terms of how much I'm paying him relative to the rest of the team, 2.28 million. But again, I think it's worth it to have a player. This is with all these yellows and greens on his card. We still didn't have enough in the backfield, so I am loaning in Stefan Stoyanov from Manchester United. 6'1", physicals are good, mentals are good, technicals are actually pretty good for a center back. Has better pace than either Cumming or El Omrani. So I expect him to be real solid for us. And then we just signed Julian Melendrez. He has caps for the Philippines, and he also just came from Aston Villa, so it doesn't even matter. This guy is an emergency backup. We had to sign an emergency backup because that's how bad things have gotten. He's left-footed, he's a left back. So yeah, that leaves us two players I skipped over. The first is my exception to the rules I made. I saw this guy and I was like, I have to have him. So we signed him from Las Palmas down in the second division in Spain. Baba Uda, our new striker. 18 when I signed him, just turned 19. We got him for 3.6 million. The game already evaluates him at 39 to 45 million. Great pace, great acceleration. I wish his vision was higher, but he's still got time to get that better. But his anticipation, his off the ball are really solid. His decisions, composure in particular, and then his dribbling and finishing are really good. And his passing is better than the Bombay's was. So he does all the things you want from an advanced forward. He's maybe a little more limited than, he's not a complete forward by any means, but he's going to be playing at the top. He has a goal already against Reading in that EFL Cup game, the Carabao Cup game. Which brings me to my controversial hire signing. I signed Joseph Messon from Saprissa in Costa Rica for $1.4 million. And he's a goalkeeper. And we already have a goalkeeper. We've got Viljami Sinisalo, who's led the charge for a long time. And Messon isn't better than Sinisalo right now, but he's a very good keeper at just 21. He's got 36 caps for the Costa Rican national team. Saprissa is best team in the Costa Rican league. His valuations again shot to 44 million to 50 million, and at just 21, he's got real growth potential. Where Sinisalo is what Sinisalo is, and I'm not sure Sinisalo is good enough to be our forever keeper, or even the keeper who is the keeper who links us to the forever keeper. Now, obviously, Sinisalo is better at a fair amount of things than Messon, but Messon does have his advantages. He's already better at command of area. He's better at handling already, and he's got better reflexes. Those are really important things. His aerial reach is close, given Sinisalo's got a 3-inch reach advantage. Sinisalo does have the advantage of been here for a long time and good leadership, so he's the team captain, so that makes us extra dangerous, as I need to get Messon playing time, so I will be rotating the two when I get opportunities. But I think Messon has a real possibility, whether it's just to move him for profit or if he's to become the next starting keeper and Sinisalo gets to become his backup and we figure it out. But there's a potential to have some hurt feelings. Yeah, hopefully we can avoid that. But the real problem right now is we are an injury ward of epic proportions. We have 7 injuries. For so many years, we've managed to get away with having like one injured player at a time. And it's been hugely impactful in how we've rocketed up in the league. We've just never had a point where we've been decimated the way we are now. I signed these guys thinking, okay, Faustik's going to be my left back. It turns out Bradbury had a renewal clause in his contract, and so I'd be like, okay, Bradbury's my backup left back, and then Sionov is my backup left back. As center back, he's left-footed, so maybe slide him out there as need be. As you can see in the injured list, down here in the bottom left, I wish it was bigger, all three of them are injured, as well as coming in terms of center back. So I have two center backs, both my left backs, both Ingolfsson and Klein, two of my center mids. Messin is like the good injury in that he's he's a goalkeeper and I'm already starting Sinisalo. So I've actually just loaned in 3 players just to make sure I have bodies to throw on the field if need be and to cover some positions. I guess I didn't really need Castle. I think I have enough cover at right wing. But so yeah, we're still going to be trying out the same formation that I love. And right now we're going to be playing the attacking custom tiki-taka that I like so much. Yeah, so we are already 20 minutes into this incredibly long video. I just changed that to be how I want it to be. Shorter passing is good. Sure, even shorter. This is how we're lining up. We get 9 subs, or we get 9 benches spots. We can use 3. We've got 2 injured guys on the bench. That's how bad we're dealing with injuries. And let's take the match. For our first ever Premier League match, it's a trip to Leicester. Go cause an upset, boys. So, surprise trick there. It turns out, basically, if you always just click the second from the left, so not the leftmost, but the one next to it, the response, it basically bad things can't happen. So, in a situation like that, you might as well just tap it and move on with your life without even bothering really reading it. It's really good for the only interviews I do are when you're introducing a new player, because you have the you often can improve their morale, and morale can be so important in the game. So by just clicking that button, on any question, it's just always complimentary stuff. It's always going to say good things about your new player, and so they'll be happy. And hopefully that'll improve their both training and play on the pitch. Leicester was winning possession, but now it's flipped, so it seems like it's a pretty balanced thing. We've not managed to get a shot off in 20 minutes. That's not amazing, but they've only managed 2, so, it's a battle in the midfield. Sinisalo will take it and play it to Omari. Plays it up to Melendez, who, again, is an emergency backup playing at left back. And then we have a trialist on the bench at left back to get you up. Doyle plays it up to Uda. Uda back out to Crook. Crook plays it forward. McNally heads it and right to their goalkeeper. But it looks like McNally had been offsides anyways. So not much to get excited about. Bell already gassing out a little bit. The schedule is pretty compact. We've only had 2 days off. We're only going to have I don't know if we had 2 or 3 days off, and we're only have 2 or 3 days off until our next game, which is against Norwich. And then we have another game immediately after against Norwich, and they're both in the Premier League. It's not like one's a cup game and then the other's man, it's funky playing in somebody else's stadium when they're both in the Premier League. The schedule gets all kinds of jumbled. Ball played forward to Uda. With his pace, gets on it. No real angles. Play back to Melendez. Melendez looking to get in the score sheet. Maybe earn himself the spot over Bradbury as the true backup. Watch for your spot getting poached, Bradbury. McNally plays it in the middle on the corner. Rejected. Crook is the first one to it, and we'll see if he can create a chance. He plays in the middle terribly, and his ball's going the other way. Oh, God. Gassett's trying to get himself thrown out already. I'm glad he didn't. XG 0.33 for them, 0.22 for us. That's fine. Boring. I don't want to encourage draws, but given the relative positions of clubs, I would take draws generally. Points. Don't get relegated. I did sell Gary Brimble. I believe he's the only player I sold. We got $3.7 million for him, so huzzah. He's playing at I think for a League One side now. Birmingham, actually, I think. Perhaps that's why they went into administration, because they pay $3.7 for right backs who don't move the needle. I mean, he was fine at the championship level, so he's probably pretty good at the League One level, but you can get players on a free in the game anyways who perform that well. Melendrez headed to the end line, crosses it, intercepted. They boom it, looking for a counterattack with Brian Waugh, who's starting because, well, the decimation. Doyle tries to chip it across, and no luck, intercepted. Brian Waugh doesn't use great leverage and gets beaten, but they just kind of fire it out the back. There was no one to contest Brian Waugh with the ball. Out to Crook. Plays it up to Gossage. Back to Crook. Yeah, I've loved scouting, in particular Serbia. Czech's good too, but there's a number of Serbians that I would have signed if they'd let me. Yeah, sure. Press that guy. Gossage throws it into McLean. Plays it up to Crook. Back to Gossage. Chips it forward to Uda, but not far enough for him to try and use his speed to outrace him. And it looks like Doyle's a pretty big boy there, so he isn't going to win a header against him. Glad he didn't bother trying. Gossage first back, plays it back to Brian Waugh. 56th minute. Yeah. Brian Waugh blasts it forward. Just, who are you playing it to, bud? We're a short passing team. You're not talented enough to pick out a good long pass. Just safely move it down the pitch. El Amari to Bell up to Uda. Uda finds a streaking McNally. He's got a step, but he's right-footed, so yeah, just pivots. Uda coming hard, and nothing. Leicester will use all three of their substitutions already. Looks like they're maybe gassing out a bit from probably their cup game. I assume they won. We should, speaking of the Carabao Cup, we should be able to move into, I don't want to jinx it, of course, but we have a favorable matchup. We aren't facing another EPL team in the second round, so I think odds are pretty good of us making the third round at a minimum, which, you know, making the second round's all the club management required. I did take the opportunity to fill out the staff even more, sign a couple more scouts, a couple more recruitment analysts. I signed a technical director for the first time ever since I wasn't in FM19. Ref, I mean, play the advantage. Okay, he's playing the advantage, but that guy just savagely went after our player. Bell plays back to McLean. McLean will take a look, doesn't find anything he likes, and back to El Omari. No yellow card. Are you kidding me? McNally will take the corner. The technical director was before the end of last year, and he was a godsend in terms of not having to renew and it wasn't even like, you know, a ton compared to what like Man City and United have to. Oh, beautiful move by McNally. No. Oh, great vision from Doyle and great run from McNally, and then just completely spoiled. Oh, brutal. You know, I had like 15 contracts to renew of scouts and coaches and physios and whatnot, and the technical director handles that for you if you delegate it to him. So, completely worth it, because I don't want to, like... Okay, that... Dangerous. So dangerous. So I just don't want to spend my time renewing all these contracts, fiddling with trying to save every last pound I can, or dollar, but pound, but dollar, but pound, pound, but dollar, you know. Because that's just tedious and not in a fun way or a good way like it is maybe on players. So letting the technical director hand that, big win in my book. Ball's headed to Uda, who will sprint out, and unfortunately their Doyle will dispossess. All right, we are now into the 69th minute, and yeah, we need to get some tired legs off the pitch. Unfortunately, again, we don't have the best of options because, well, we've our it guys 5 players it's flagging as of the highest stage of tired, And just based on where our subs are, I'd rather not bring on the trialists if I can help it. I think some of our players, like Cumming, will be back and ready for the next game, so we'll be able to sit El Omari next game for Cumming. So I think we're just going to make the subs in the midfield and run Melendrez and El Omari ragged. So we need center right. We'll put in midfield. We'll put in Thompson. Bring in Doyle as a Mazzala. And then, you know what, let's bring Blumgren over Armstrong at right wing. I know what Armstrong brings. It's boring. Let's give the young guy a chance. And let's encourage. Get the boys happy and excited for this last closing kick. Gasic picks up his yellow card. We got 3 on yellow cards. Not enough that we need to go, hey, slow it down, but enough to have a think. Torres to Castrovilli. Castrovilli up to Campas. Campas into Castrovilli up to Aronson. Aronson with a not terribly great cross. Gasic brings it into the middle. Vine bombs it away. Back to their center back. That is not a very effective method for us. Maybe other teams can make that work. That's not how we're set up. Stop doing it. Don't panic. Torres finds Budiaf breaking free, but luckily he's well cut off there by, I don't know if that's Baumgren in retreat or probably Gasic. Oh, damn you, Castrovilli. See Iglesias here, takes a look, plays a Budiaf. Torres, Castrovilli. It's not necessarily McNally's place, but McNally was on him and then just kind of randomly drifted off him. And it's disappointing. Like, hey, they're not gonna throw a in basketball parlance a skip pass. They're not gonna, play it over the man. And if they do, then it's all the harder to control and easier to intercept. You should play the easier pass and stick with that man, not just abandon him because, oh no, I'm the left wing, so I need to get out to the left. No, there's no one there in the middle. Guard the man. Oh, that's disappointing. Leicester was the better side today. There's not a question about that. They betted the better of possession. We had more shots and even more on target, but they had better XG. And, I think they were the better team. But it was close, which is always good. And, there are a lot of positives to take away, as I just clicked. So it's a positive thing. We were dealing with a lot of injuries and we're still able to put a performance like that. We got nicked by a late goal, but that'll happen. For those who want to see what the league looks like here in 2028, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Leicester, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Brighton, Chelsea, Everton, Norwich, Nottingham Forest, Man City, Southampton, Tottenham, West Ham, Salisbury, Wolves, Bristol City, Fulham, and Manchester United, who are below us. Haha, Man United. So that is what the league currently looks like. McNally's close to triggering another clause, which would mean we pay Liverpool another 100K. That's obviously fine. I just wanted to... Man City has won 4 of the last 6 titles, with United and Chelsea each going in there to grab one. Yeah, this injury table here on the right, 7 injuries, more than everyone else. Usually we're sitting at the bottom of those. It's not great, but hopefully it'll turn around and not all the players we signed are injury ridden. Start of a new year. We'll see how many updates I think are appropriate as we go through the year, when I want to catch up with you next, but hopefully it'll be soon. Let me know what you think. Do you think any of the players I signed have real potential, or are they all going to be a bunch of duds? Got some with 5-star potential, according to this, but then again, is my 5-star potential the same as Manchester City's 5-star potential? I mean, the answer is no, but it doesn't mean they aren't actually that good. We just don't know yet. Anyways, thank you for spending the time with me. The extra long, extra big episode. Likes, comment, subscribe, do all those fun things. Thanks for joining me. Bye.